The coffee cup didn't even have time to hit the floor. It spun in the air, scattering a trail of hot liquid before crashing onto the tiles. The entire diner froze. And in the center of that stillness stood a terrified young waitress named Elena, her hand on her cheek, her breath trembling, her eyes wide with shock. The man who struck her, the muscular bald customer who'd been complaining since he sat down, stood over her with a look of cold, ugly satisfaction. For a heartbeat, there was no sound except the dripping coffee and Elena's shaky breathing. But fate was already moving. The diner door swung open, and heavy boots stepped inside. Seconds after the blow, the bikers walked in. Backhand index pointing right if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for others. Please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories like this. Elena had always been the kind of person who held herself together even when life kept tearing her apart. She took extra shifts to help her mother pay rent, studied at night to finish her courses, and still greeted customers with a tired but genuine smile. But that morning, exhaustion lined her face in a way no makeup could hide. She had been working since dawn, her feet aching, her back sore, but she kept moving, kept smiling, because she needed the job. She needed hope. And then she had the misfortune of serving a man who had none. The thug had been rude from the moment he sat down, kicking the booth seat, complaining about everything from the temperature of the diner to the brightness of the lights. Elena, patient as always, apologized, refilled his cup, and offered to bring fresh food. But sometimes kindness feels like weakness to the wrong kind of person. When the man grabbed her arm and accused her of ignoring him, Elena tried to step back. That's when he hit her, hard enough to send her stumbling into the table behind her. Hard enough that an elderly couple gasped and a teenage boy dropped his fork. And then the doors opened. 3 bikers walked in, big, broad-shouldered men wearing denim cuts and boots heavy enough to announce their arrival. The leader, a tall man with a gray-streaked beard and tired eyes, paused the second he saw Elena on the floor. His expression changed instantly, as if a switch flipped inside him. He scanned the diner, saw the trembling waitress, saw the man towering over her, and his jaw tightened like steel under pressure. The air shifted. Even the thug felt it. He froze, hands still half raised like he wasn't sure what to do next. Elena tried to stand, insisting she was fine, but her voice cracked and her knees buckled. The biker closest to her moved fast, steadying her before she could fall. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. His silent presence, the gentle way he helped her up, was enough to make her eyes sting with tears. The thug took a step back, as if reconsidering his choices, but arrogance is stubborn. He scoffed, muttered something under his breath, and tried to sit back down as if nothing had happened. The leader of the bikers walked toward him slowly, each step echoing through the diner like a drumbeat. Customers shifted in their seats, watching with quiet anticipation. The thug swallowed, suddenly not as confident as he was moments ago. The biker didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He simply stood there, staring down at the man like he was evaluating him, not his muscles, not his size, but the kind of person he had chosen to be. And in that heavy silence, the thug's bravado crumbled. He muttered a shaky excuse, grabbed his jacket, and hurried toward the door. But the biker's voice caught him just as he reached it, a low, controlled tone that carried more weight than shouting ever could. He told the man to apologize. Not because he wanted to humiliate him, but because Elena deserved to hear it. And she did. With shaking lips and eyes glued to the floor, the thug whispered an apology before fleeing the diner altogether. Elena stood there stunned, her cheeks still burning, her hands trembling. The leader turned to her and spoke gently, asking if she was all right, telling her she didn't deserve what happened. Something in his voice, steady, warm, protective, made her exhale for the first time since the blow landed. She felt seen. She felt defended. And for the first time in months, she felt like she wasn't carrying the world alone. The bikers sat in their booth but never stopped checking on her with quiet, concerned glances. When she returned with coffee, hands still a little shaky, the leader placed a small folded wad of bills on the table. A tip far larger than anything she'd ever received. Elena tried to refuse, insisting she couldn't take it, but he shook his head. He told her it was for strength, for all the times she had to smile through pain, for all the moments she kept going even when life was unfair. Elena felt tears slip down her cheek, but these tears were different. These were tears of release. Tears that washed away fear and filled the empty spaces with something soft, something hopeful. Moments like these stay with a person. And what happened next etched itself deeper into Elena's life than she could ever imagine. Word of the incident traveled, first among regulars, then among people she'd never met. Over the next few weeks, strangers came by the diner just to leave kind notes or small gifts, telling her she mattered. Someone started a fundraiser to help her finish school. Her manager gave her extra breaks. Even the teenage boy who had dropped his fork that morning returned with flowers and an apology for not stepping in sooner. Elena began to see humanity differently, not as a world full of cruel people, but as a world full of silent protectors, waiting for moments to reveal themselves. And the bikers? They visited often, not out of guilt or pity, but because they genuinely cared. They became her friends, her unexpected guardians, her reminder that strength comes in many forms, and sometimes it walks in wearing leather and heavy boots. When Elena finally graduated months later, the bikers were there, clapping louder than anyone else. She looked out into the crowd, saw them smiling proudly, and realized how profoundly one moment can change a life, not just the moment she was struck, but the moment someone chose to stand up for her. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more emotional real-life stories. Speech balloon before you go, comment below, kindness is strength.